Alright, Phase 2 of Marvel Cinematic Universe is over. Now Phase 3 is on its way with Captain America Civil War, which is going to be awesome and hopefully better than Age of Ultron. But why not rank the MCU films from worst to best? Let's keep in mind, people, this is my opinion and my opinion only, so this is my list. And don't say, why this film was above that film? Why is it lower than that film? Why is it under the... Why do that? Don't say all that. Alright, let's start off with my least favorite entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man 2. Now, I love the first Iron Man. Iron Man 2 was such a disappointment. First of all, I don't hate this movie. I really don't hate this movie as others. But at the same time, this film was not really good at all. I mean, this movie was such a letdown. One of the best things about this film is Scarlett Johansson's introduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a Black Widow. Now, some people thought she would suck, but man, she is awesome. I mean, I love Black Widow in this film. Actually, I love her in most of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that she's in. But unfortunately, this film suffered from a lot of incohesive plot details that should never be in this film. And Whiplash, played by Mickey Rourke, was such not very good villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, what was the point of him against Iron Man? For Iron Man 2, there was the Incredible Hulk. Not a bad movie, but hey, it's better than the atrocity version we had before. But yeah, this is not the Hulk movie we all been waiting for after Ang Lee's terrible version of the Hulk. But still, this movie is very enjoyable. The best parts about this movie is just the Hulk himself. I mean, Edward Norton, I don't mind him as the Hulk, but he's nowhere near as great as Mark Ruffalo. But one of my main problems about this film is that it is short, very shorter than Ang Lee's version, which is sad in my opinion. But when that movie was long and terrible, well, this movie is short and fun. I mean, at least this movie didn't have freaking Hulk dogs. Right, it's Thor. Now, Thor, of course, I wasn't really into the character. I knew much about him before. But see this movie? I like him now. Hemsworth is spot on as Thor. He is a perfect choice to play the mighty god from Asgard. But really, I wasn't really blown away by this film. I'm glad we have this film. But wasn't really like, ooh, kind of like the first segment with Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, the first two X-Men films. This movie was kind of there for me. I mean, it's there. I'm not mad this movie exists, but it's there. Another MCU movie that wasn't really impressed by, but I'm not mad that it exists, that is Captain America, the first Avenger. I was never really a Captain America fan at all before hearing about this movie came out. I was never looking forward to this movie. I was looking forward to Thor. Looking forward to Incredible Hulk in the first two Iron Mans. But Captain America was never a character I was never really interested in seeing on the big screen. But really, this movie was good. It wasn't bad. It's just like Thor. It was there. Chris Evans nails the role of Captain America, even though I like him better as the Human Torch more than Captain America, to be honest. But really, like I said, along with Thor, I wasn't really impressed by the film. At all. But their sequels were really good. Alright people, it's time to go dark. And what I mean by dark, I mean Thor the Dark World. If you see my reviews, you know my thoughts about this film. I'm very indifferent about this film. I don't know if I like it more than the first film, or do I like it less than the first film. The parts of this movie that kind of like better than the first Thor. And there are parts of this movie that made me like this movie less than the first Thor. I mean, I still try to figure out, do I like this film more than the first Thor, or do I like it less? I mean, I put it above here, because I think it's an improvement of the first film, but at the same time, I don't think it's better. I know, it's weird. I'll come all over the place with that, but I don't know how I feel about this film. Do I like it more, or do I like it less? Who knows? There's a film in the MCU that some people think is either good or bad, and that is Iron Man 3. I think this movie is good, but I can understand why people can hate this movie. Yeah, this movie had a lot of stupid moments, just like Iron Man 2. But the problem with the Iron Man sequel, they focus too much on comedy. Yeah, this movie can be funny at times, but still, it takes away from the feel, from the vibe from the movie. And what really made people pissed off about this movie from the trailer was really much misleading, for this movie to be more darker, more serious than the last Iron Man movie. And the Mandarin being an actor. What the heck, movie? Next on the list is Avengers Age of Ultron. I had a lot of fun with this film, but it's very disappointing from every promotion received from this film. The trailer, TV spots, everything. This movie was kind of underwhelming. But that does not stop from me liking this film. It's great to see the Avengers on screen again. But really, I love the Hulkbuster fight scene with Iron Man versus the Hulk. That was very awesome to see. I thought Ultron was a pretty good villain. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were okay characters, not really that entertaining to me. But the best part about the film was the Vision. The Vision was great. He was great. I love Paul Bettany's performance as the Vision. He was great. I'm looking forward to him to seeing it in any of the MCU films. Next up, we have AntMan, a character before I never really knew much about, but I'm glad that this film got me into the character, even though it has my name in it. But I'm glad I like this movie a lot more than the Avengers. I think the plot of this film is more cohesive and more easier to follow than Avengers Age of Ultron. And really, I do like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Pena, and T.I. surprisingly. They're good as well as a comic relief. And this movie is a lot of fun. I'm not really saying much because I reviewed this movie not too long ago, like a week ago, so check that out. Here we have the film that started the MCU craze, the original OG Iron Man. I love this movie a lot. It kind of disappoints me how the sequels are crap compared to the first film. I mean, it's kind of sad that we probably won't get an Iron Man sequel that probably be as great as this film. And I like the direction that Jon Favreau took this film. And Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Nobody can replace that man as Iron Man. He was such phenomenal as his role, and this movie came out the same year as The Dark Knight, so it was like a huge competition between The Dark Knight and Iron Man. But of course, both films are great. Alright, now we're finally on to the final three. Now, we have Captain America the Winter Soldier. A very surprisingly great movie. I wasn't really impressed with the first Avenger, but this movie kicked butt. I love the Winter Soldier. This movie is such a very great surprise, because at first, I wasn't really into the first Captain America, but this movie changed my mind about the character. Now he is awesome. I love this movie. I love the Falcon. I love the Winter Soldier. And I think this is the best Captain America movie ever had. I mean, of course, wasn't really feeling the first one. And don't get me started on the 90s film. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. First in the Galaxy. Do you know this movie is going to be on this list? And what made this movie so great is that it stars characters that barely any people know much about. And I'm glad. I love this movie a lot. It's got such a killer soundtrack, score, visual effects. I love everybody in this movie. Everybody does a great job. And Groot and Rocket Raccoon is one of the greatest movie duos. This Han Solo and Chewbacca. And Harry Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber. 2 thumbs up for Guardians of the Galaxy. What a bunch of a-holes. Number 1 is the Avengers. I mean, how can we just see that number 1? If you don't see that as number 1, you're stupid. Sorry, I'm just kidding with you. Of course the Avengers is going to be a number 1 on my list. Why would it not be? Because everything every Marvel fan wants in their film. Great action, great characters, great special effects. Joss Whedon's direction of this film is just fantastic. And actually, this is the first film we get to see Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, Thor, and Black Widow, and Hawkeye all in one film. It is just such a great experience in the theater. I saw it twice. Actually, 3 times in the theater. Actually, I mean, this movie's great. Everything about this movie is great. Some people call it overrated, but that's fine. We can agree to disagree, but The Avengers is the number 1 MCU film of all time, without a doubt, until Civil War comes out. Of course, people, that is my list. How you rate the MCU films in the comment section down below. I would love to know what you think. And yes, that's enough superhero movies for this year. That is enough. But I hear, like I said, this is another superhero film movie about 4 younger adults that have one that can stretch, one that can have invisibility, one's made out of rocks, and one have firepower. I'll look into that. I want to see what that's about. But anyways, I'll come back with another video when I can. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.